Hey everyone, I'm Deanna Corby with Deanna Corby Dressage. I'm a dressage trainer, instructor, competition judge, and USDF bronze medalist. Thanks so much for joining me today. And if it is your first time here, welcome. And be sure to look below this video and you will see a red button. Click that red button and you will subscribe to my equestrian YouTube channel where I release new content every Tuesday and Thursday. I focus mainly on horse training tips, rider position tips, and product reviews. So in this week's video, I want to discuss ulcers in horses' stomachs. An ulcer is basically an acidic irritation of the horse's stomach lining. And horses are prone to ulcers. It's estimated actually that about 50% of foals and 1/3 of adult horses confined in stalls may have mild ulcers. Up to 60% of show horses and 90% of race horses may develop moderate to severe ulcers. So we have a horse out at the farm that we are particularly concerned about for having stomach ulcers. The reason that we're concerned is that he has a poor coat, a not so good body condition, and he's very, very girthy. So girthy just means that when you go to tighten the girth or put on the girth, that he pins his ears, he flips his head around and stuff like that. You can tell that he is uncomfortable and he doesn't like it. So we suspected that this particular horse had ulcers. So what we did is ask the vet to come out to scope him. That means put a camera down through his nose and down into his belly to look around for ulcers. And I took a video of what was shown on the scope. So I want to show that to you now and kind of show you what we saw.
See how his white tissue has a yellow hue to it? That's indicative of chronic gastric irritation. Let's get his lesser curvature up.
So that whole dark red section?
That's normal. Mm-hmm. So that the big part on that side is a greater curvature. Let's see if you might have some. The red section is normal tissue, but I'm going to look close. He's got glandular ulcers. See the bright pink dot? And we'll wash it. Bright pink dots on the pink, he's got glandular. See, they're really irritated though.
Mm-hmm. Looks like blister.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good boy. Yep. I would definitely put him on sucralfate and gastrogard. He's got a lot of irritating. I'm going to get over and wash off that yellow bit there.
So the yellow bit, did you determine that's old or that's just...
They're not active ulcers.
So they can actually heal up for a while and then come back, or they get new ones?
It's usually new ones.
Okay. So they could feel better for a while and then they'd flare up again.
So it should be bright pink and consistent, and he's got irritations, and you can see those dots there. Let's see if I can fill it up with a bit more air. Those guys, all right along there. He needs sucralfate big time. With some, I would do with gastrogard. They're not very deep, but you'll never heal that unless you do the sucralfate and the gastrogard. Let's see if we can get a little more exposed.
Is that just acid in the stomach? Is that just...
Yeah, but see that tissue, that is acid.
Yeah.
That tissue should be protected. It's what we call glandular mucosa because the glands secrete mucus that should keep it from getting ulcers. It has to live under the water, under the acid all the time. So God gave it certain properties to keep it protected. Well, his isn't being protected right now. He's not got any ulcers on the non-glandular part, but he's got pretty significant irritation on the glandular.
Well, so
And kind of, there's old ulcers. Take a picture of that. Hold still. Yeah, see, those are old, probably almost healed. No, yeah, like right here.
Yeah.
Almost healed or healing right now. So, but see all the bright pink on the on the pink portion of it?
On the white?
Yeah, just below the white. So actually that is an active ulcer right there.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
How
ma'am.
this happens? How do they get this?
Horses are prone to it. I mean, you can scope a horse and they can be clinically pristine. Put them on a trailer for 2 hours, pull them off, scope them immediately, and they've got nodule ulcers. The horses are prone to this. They're just prone to it. So the way you prevent it, or try to help prevent it, you keep ruffage in their system all the time, as much as possible. You can give them alfalfa. The bicarb in the alfalfa will lower the increase the pH. I don't know, wash that lesser curvature a bit if it'll fill up.
24/7 access to hay, roughage,
But
grass.
we do that.
I know you do. I know.
Right.
Horses are just prone to this. In stressful situations, you have to pre-treat with GastroGuard.
The yellow lining, the yellow tone of the horse's stomach is a sign that this horse has chronic ulcers. Apparently, from what the vet says, the horse's stomach lining should be pretty white. And if in the scoping you see any kind of irritated spots, like pink spots or kind of bubbly looking red spots even, those are signs that the horse has ulcers. Scoping a horse is the only true way to know if your horse has ulcers, but you can sort of predict if your horse has ulcers by, like I said, the horse having a poor coat, a poor body condition, loss of appetite, mild loss of weight, attitude change for sure, particularly being sensitive around their stomach, obviously. And if your horse for any reason is fasting, meaning they're not eating enough forage for whatever reason. Any feed changes in your horse's diet and any medications added to your horse's daily routine can also be a cause of ulcers. Other signs of gastric ulcers in stomachs, and in foals in particular, are intermittent colic, often after nursing or eating, poor appetite and nursing for only very short periods, teeth grinding, excessive salivation, diarrhea, laying on the back, and more. So these are some pretty obvious signs that you can see in a horse, especially if you know your horse quite well. But also a horse can present no signs at all of ulcers. So sort of a tricky subject. I would say through my experience, horses that crib and have attitude changes are definitely reasons for concern, and definitely want to ask your vet about the possibility of that horse having ulcers. Now, having your horse scoped is the only for sure way to know if your horse has ulcers. And honestly, that is what I would recommend doing. There are different types of ulcers and different locations in the horse's stomach, and your horse might need different medications to treat the ulcers. Having your horse scoped is not a cheap process. The scope generally runs about $300 per horse. But then if your horse needs medication for their ulcers, that's a lot more. The good news is if your horse is insured and has major medical insurance, that your insurance will cover some of this. But you need to definitely check with your own personal insurance just to make sure. But I know that my insurance covers this process. In my experience in dealing with horses with ulcers, it is in fact worth the effort and the money to spend on treating their ulcers. I can only imagine what the horse feels like in having a very acidic, upset stomach. A lot of horses will express that, especially, like I said, when you put the saddle on and when you put your leg on to tell them to do something when you're riding, and so on. So it's something ulcers in horses' stomachs is something to take pretty seriously. And it's a pretty worthwhile investment to do some investigating and treatment of the horse's ulcers. I can't tell you how important it is to offer your horse unlimited forage and to encourage them to move around as much as possible. These are great ways to prevent ulcers. Like I said, even though the horse is prone technically to ulcers, the best thing that you can do is offer your horse unlimited amounts of forage and plenty of space to move around as much as possible. So if you're noticing any signs, any changes in your horse's mood, in your horse's body, I would most definitely call your vet and get an appointment to talk to them about ulcers and any possible diagnosis and treatment. I hope this video helped you understand what ulcers are and how they can be treated. I hope that you were able to see in the video of the horse being scoped for ulcers what they look like in a horse's stomach. I know that there is still a lot of research being done by vets and by experts in the industry about ulcers, and it's definitely still a practice. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks again. Bye.